Right now at 6, the latest from Portland International Airport as the FAA plans to cancel flights across the country starting on Friday.
If we get delayed, it's like the next day and we have class, so yeah, it kind of sucks.
Then, the race against time to find a hunter missing for a week in the Mount Hood National Forest.
You know, the concern at this point is anybody that's been out in the elements for this amount of time.
And the local schools placed on high alert after immigration agents were apparently spotted nearby.
Bearing witness and hopefully deterring ICE agents.
We begin here at 6 with airlines across the country slashing flights, including here at PDX. Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko. The mandated cuts up to 10% of takeoffs and landings are an emergency response to a shortage of air traffic controllers who have been working without pay since the government shutdown began over 5 weeks ago. John Adams is live at PDX with the very latest. John, how's it looking?
Well, David and Christine, as of right now and throughout the day since we've been here, the TSA lines have been moving smoothly, and we haven't seen cancellations for flights that are happening on Thursday, but that has started to change in regards to flights happening tomorrow. I just checked FlightAware right before we came on the air here. They have listed 6 incoming and 6 outgoing flights at Portland International Airport that are already canceled for tomorrow. It was business as usual at Portland International Airport on Thursday, but potential changes starting Friday were definitely top of mind for travelers.
I am headed home and I'm glad I'm leaving today.
The FAA says Portland International Airport is one of 40 airports across the country that will see a 10% reduction in air travel starting Friday. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy explained the decision was made to alleviate stress on air traffic controllers who have gone unpaid during the shutdown.
We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
Travelers spending the weekend in the Portland area are already coming to grips with their return flights possibly being canceled or delayed, including these college students from Omaha.
If we get delayed, it's like the next day and we have class, so yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I have an exam Monday, so kind of want to be back at a decent time.
While others say weekend plans will include frequent check-ins on their flight status.
Refreshing the apps, checking the updates, making sure we'd arrive on time, but yeah, so far, we're not too concerned. We think we'll make it.
I saw some security wait times are like up to 3-4 hours, which we don't want to be involved in. So honestly, just looking at like Delta and honestly the news is probably what we're going to do.
The Port of Portland sent us this statement saying the port is monitoring the situation closely and remains focused on keeping daily operations at PDX running smoothly, including if our airline partners make changes to their flight schedule. Well, the Port of Portland is encouraging travelers to check with their specific airlines before they travel for the latest on their flights. Now, Alaska Airlines has released a statement today saying that they have already started reducing flights on Friday, but say as of right now, this will not affect international travel. David and Christine, back to you.
Yeah, it's all just getting started here. John Adams at PDX, appreciate it. Well, as those flight cancellations and delays pile up, it is important to know your rights as a traveler. Airlines flying within the U.S. do not have to pay cash compensation or cover hotel and meals, even when they cause the disruption. The incorrect graphic here, apologies for that. The Biden administration proposed requiring airlines to pay travelers in some cases, but the Trump administration scrapped that rule last month. Christine has been taking a look at what is being offered instead.
Yeah, David, first we want to note that the top 3 airlines with the most flights at PDX, we're talking Alaska, Southwest, and Delta, are all offering some kind of flexibility for travelers who rebook or cancel their flights. But no matter what airline you're flying, it's really helpful to keep these 3 things in mind. First, I know it's kind of like worth maybe not saying, but it's easy to get carried away when you're stressed out. Be patient with those airline agents. Remember, they're helping hundreds of frustrated passengers. And like I said, easy to get caught up in the moment. Number 2, check your travel insurance, especially the fine print there. Not all policies cover disruptions from worker shortages in particular. And 3, use international support or frequent flyer perks for faster service. If you need guidance, try your airline's international support for shorter wait times, or if you're flying with someone who has elite status, maybe think about using their frequent flyer number when you call. And of course, you can stay with us as we track the impacts of the government shutdown. You can find the latest here on air, KGW.com, or anytime on our free TV streaming app, KGW+.
All right, let's hop over to Matt now. And Matt, while there is still rain out there, it feels like relief after yesterday, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more relief as we go into the weekend. But boy, these last couple of days may have prompted quite a few people to try to fly away somewhere. But don't worry, we've got a nice change on the way towards dry weather. There's still some relatively heavy rain, Washington County, northwest parts of Multnomah County here, and up into Clark County. But the rain will be decreasing even tonight. And by tomorrow, yeah, we got a few showers around in the morning, but the radar will look a lot cleaner. There'll be a lot less on here. And even now, we're beginning to see the back edge come to the coast just a bit as these showers finally will be cycling on through. The rainfall today, in spite of the fact that it felt like it's been raining all day, only 0.18 of an inch out at the airport, about a half an inch up in Scappoose and Hillsborough, a little bit less in Aurora, and McMinnville, 0.2 of an inch. So most places didn't pick up a ton of rain, but Hillsborough, Troutdale rather, picked up 0.61 of an inch, and out at the coast, roughly an inch up and down the Oregon coast. So it was a good soggy day. It was also very windy earlier in the day. Garibaldi clocked a gust of 79 miles an hour. Pacific City and Astoria around 60 miles an hour, and Salem the same as yesterday. And up at the top of the Magic Mile chairlift on Mount Hood, an 80-mile-an-hour gust last night, about 1 a.m. So it was really rocking and rolling out there. But the rain decreases tonight. The showers that are left over end tomorrow, and then it really switches Friday night as we go into dry weather for the weekend and beyond. We'll talk about those east winds too in a bit, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, I think we all deserve a break. Thanks, Matt. In your headlines now, federal authorities have arrested 7 people accused of running a multi-state burglary ring that targeted Asian business owners in Oregon and Washington. Prosecutors say the crew used signal jammers and surveillance technology to ransack homes while victims were at work. Police say they recovered stolen cash, jewelry, and designer items after tracking the suspects to a rental home in Eugene. 2 of the defendants made their first court appearances this week and are being held pending trial.
Police have identified 2 men found dead at a Hillsborough home yesterday. Investigators say it happened on Northeast Sunrise Lane near 17th Avenue. They believe 29-year-old Braden Leachman was the victim. He was found dead inside. 28-year-old Jefferson Brown was found dead in the backyard. He is believed to have killed Leachman. Police have not released how the 2 men died or what led up to their deaths. Contact Hillsborough Police if you have any information.
The FBI is now asking for information that could help find a missing tribal elder from the Umatilla Reservation. Wesley Jones was last seen on October 5th at Highway 331 and Mission Road, that's in Pendleton. Investigators say it is possible Jones went fishing on the Umatilla River, but they say they are also considering foul play. His truck was found at his home with a flat tire. You can submit tips online at tips.fbi.gov or contact Umatilla Police.
The city of Portland says 81 people were in violation of its camping ban since enforcement resumed on Saturday. In the first 5 days, outreach teams contacted 57 camps. They issued 83 warnings, 7 citations, and arrested 40 people, most of them on warrants. 39 people accepted shelter services. Mayor Keith Wilson paused enforcement back in February with the goal of expanding shelter capacity to meet demand. He says no one will be arrested simply for camping, only for other crimes or existing warrants.
And the White House is appealing after a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to issue November SNAP payments in full and by Friday. That's after the USDA said it would only cover slimmed down benefits, some 65%. The judge now ordering the government to use additional emergency funds. In response, Oregon AG Dan Rayfield saying in part, quote, families deserve the full benefits they depend on each month, and we're moving forward to make sure they get them, end quote. We've reached out to the State Human Services Department here for an update.
2 North Portland schools went into lockout this morning after reports of ice activity in the area.
In response, dozens of parents and neighbors showed up at the end of the school day to help keep an eye out. Let's bring in Jake Coulter live at Cesar Chavez School with the details. Jake.
Yeah, David and Christine, Cesar Chavez School and George Middle School were both placed under secure the perimeter protocol for a short time this morning. And as word spread through the community, Portlanders were quite the presence at pickup time.
protecting kids seems basic.
I see a community that cares about its neighbors.
Dozens of Portlanders gathering at schools across North Portland Thursday at pickup time after reports of ICE activity in the area put Portland Public Schools on high alert.
It's really tough to think like, man, this is the world that we live in right now.
Cesar Chavez School and George Middle School both briefly placed in Secure the Perimeter protocol Thursday morning out of an abundance of caution. That protocol means exterior doors were locked and activities had to remain inside the building. Teaching and learning continued as normal. But as word spread through social media, Portlanders made it a point to be outside the schools as an extra layer of protection at pickup time.
Anything you can do just to be present, to show support, show our community that you are welcome here.
That included Multnomah County Commissioner from District 2, Shannon Singleton.
The last thing anybody wants to be doing is having to worry about kids, particularly being able to get in and out of schools safely. I think absolutely the only people not welcome right now in our community is our federal law enforcement.
Just up the road, dozens of people also turned out at Clarendon Regional Early Learning Academy when they were dismissed around 2.
Just here and standing in solidarity, and if hopefully nothing happens, but if it does, like bearing witness and hopefully deterring ICE agents.
Now, we didn't personally see any ICE agents at either school, but school officials are encouraging families to make sure that their emergency contact name and phone numbers are updated out of an abundance of caution. David and Christine?
Always a good idea there. Jake Coulter reporting. Thanks, Jake. Oregon's long-delayed gun control law went before the state Supreme Court today, with opponents arguing Measure 114 is unconstitutional.
So you may remember voters narrowly approved the measure back in November of 2022, but it was quickly challenged at both the state and federal levels, putting it on hold. The law would make training necessary for a required permit to get a gun. It would do away with a 3-day waiting period for background checks, and it would restrict high-capacity magazines to no more than 10 rounds. That restriction was a part of today's arguments.
The way that the technology operates now allowed the Las Vegas shooter to fire more than 100 rounds in a minute.
The fact of the matter is the Constitution of Oregon and the United States applies to things that did not exist when the document was written.
Well, the case made its way to the top after an appeals court overruled a Harney County judge who originally found the measure violated the state's constitution. No word on how long a decision could take.